Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I am Judy Howard, and I help others find their authentic selves. Have you ever been trapped by your emotions? Have you ever wondered why certain situations or people provoke you and cause such intense reactions within you? Today, I want to share an experience I had. A typical example of how, if we don't examine the root of our emotions, we will forever be in a prison controlled by them and never achieve the quality of life we deserve. 18 months ago, I came up with the idea to produce a podcast. Everyone seems to be doing one. Why not me too? At first, when I announced I wanted to start a podcast, everything was great. My encouraging friends cheered me on. They had me chomping at the bit to write my weekly shows. Wow, they said, you're so amazing, and you're so old, and yet you're still trying new things. We can't wait to hear it. So I said, why not? I'll do it. I'll start a podcast. No, they didn't say the "you are old" part to my face, but I knew what they were thinking because I thought it too. It is unbelievable what I have done. Most folks my age, well, we grew up with dial-up phones and party lines. And if you don't know what they are, they're the 50s version of the internet and Facebook. So 16 years ago, when I wrote my first book at the age of, get this, 64, I built my own website without even hardly knowing what a website was. And over the years, as I wrote and published 8 books, I learned to navigate on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And I wrote endless blogs. And I traveled across the country teaching writing and lecturing about seminars about writing to large audiences. I even learned to teach online. All of this while learning to perfect my writing craft. Phew, I swear, I know so much to learn for an old lady. So if I have accomplished all of this, you might ask me, why did it take over 18 months to write my first podcast episode? It was a task I thought would be easy peasy, but it was not. I can hardly believe what happened when I began writing my first episode. As I wrote down my words on the paper, they came out all garbled like tossed spaghetti. The more I struggled to write sensibly, the more confused I became. Insecurities that I didn't know I had consumed me. Why was all of this getting in my way? I'm an successful author, for goodness sakes. Overnight, I began overthinking, second-guessing every word I wrote. I tried rewriting, but that only made it worse. I felt pathetic. I began arguing with myself. Why do you think anyone's going to want to hear what you have to say? Who's going to listen? My enthusiasm just nosedived. The longer I sat at my desk, the worse I felt. Any good feelings I had gleaned from my friends' encouragement now seemed silly. My podcast idea was just foolish nonsense. I berated myself. You know, there's thousands of podcasts already out there about inspiration. Whatever are you thinking? It's already been done. No one will want to listen to yours. And the harder I tried, the more unbearable my insecurities became. I dumped on my friends. I don't know why this is so hard. I never thought podcasting would be this hard. Why am I having so much trouble? They listened, like the good friends that they were, but they were out of answers too. Wow, have I painted a dire picture? I have just described how our emotions can trap us and how A situation can provoke intense reactions and hold us prisoner. Can you relate? Have you ever experienced this kind of craziness? Months passed, and then a year. I dreamt up excuses to avoid writing. I took walks on the beach. I rearranged my sock drawer, for God's sake. Nothing worked. Yet I couldn't give up on this idea. I had felt I had something to say and people wanted to hear it. I refused to walk away, even though it felt like agonizing self-torture every time I sat down to write. A knot formed in my gut and became like a boulder in my belly. No amount of food would make it go away. I just want you to know that. And yet, I heard this small voice whispering to me, everything will be okay. You'll figure it out. I think I'm stupid for even listening to it because really, I don't think this podcast is going to happen. And then, as the universe has a way of doing things, when you are seeking the truth, or maybe when you just give up, something shifted. Do you know what I am talking about? When you are so committed to a project and you just can't stop thinking about it, and when even though it makes you miserable, there is a deeper reason for what you want to do, a reason you can't explain that makes no sense, not even to yourself. But you press on because you just can't quit. That is when the universe opens a door, just a tiny crack, allowing a tiny bit of awareness to make itself known. My awareness came from, guess what? A podcast of all things. The popular podcaster Mel Robbins drew me in because of her guest, Martha Beck. Martha is a Harvard sociologist with a string of degrees behind her name. She teaches methods of overcoming, guess what? Anxiety. And she suggested 4 simple steps to overcome anxiety. Just what I needed. So I gave it a try. Step 1, take 2 slow, deep breaths and exhale. Well, I'm not a meditator or anything, so I'm always moving too fast and too much to be a meditator, but I could take 2 slow, deep breaths and exhale. So I did. And when I did this, it relaxed something inside of me. It loosened it up. Step 2, she said, focus on the uncomfortable feeling, whatever it is in your body. So I focused on that boulder of a knot in my stomach. She went on to explain, wherever your pain is located, it's your body's way of warning you to open up that box where you've stuffed all of those emotions that were too painful to deal with. She went on to explain, your body is spending a lot of energy to contain them. Doing so weakens your body and it weighs it down. It takes a lot of energy away from your other bodily functions. I thought of our motorhomes. I used to be an RVer, and when they are overloaded, sooner or later the strain causes a tire to blow or an engine to overheat. So step 3, she said, as you focus on your discomfort, you will notice it growing bigger. Well, goodness gracious. So for me, it did. It grew bigger. It became like this huge cloud over my head. Like it might have a funnel cloud beneath it, but it didn't. But as I studied it, even though it was big, it reminded me of a bully. It was just full of hot air. But within the cloud loomed a large crowd of people. My 3rd grade teacher was there. She had called me a braggart in front of my class, and when I tried to tell them about my fun road trip with my family to Disneyland. My sister was there. She used to always call me stupid and crybaby. And the entire staff from my high school who ruled that I was a girl of low moral character when I got pregnant at 16. They were there. The only way they would let me finish high school after I dropped out and then came back was if I sat in the back of the classroom and did not associate with the other children. The bully of a cloud was crowded. Nearly everyone from what I called the dark days of 2020 was there. During those difficult times, no matter what camp you chose to be in during those days, someone hated you. And as I looked at all the faces in that dark cloud, it seemed everyone in my entire life was there. Everyone who had thought I wasn't good enough. It was at this point that a striking awareness came over me. These people were not a part of me. I was separate from them. And I was not any of those things that they thought I was either. I was like standing aside like an onlooker. Step 4, Martha says, now simply tell them to go. You don't need them anymore. They aren't relevant. Wow, I can do that? The thought had never hardly even left my brain when, poof, everybody was gone. And then, just as quickly, clarity returned. I had been looking at myself through the eyes of my third grade teacher, through my sister's eyes, and nearly everyone in 2020. What kind of podcast would I have created if I had written it from all of these other people's points of view? Now, with Martha Beck's simple 4-step exercise, I have a new pair of glasses. It is as if I am standing on the sidelines watching a game play out, and the buzzer sounds, game over. I can clearly see I am not all those things they were saying about me, and I let them go. I walk out of the stadium, leaving them to play another game somewhere else. But I want you to know you won't find me in the stands. And as the stadium door closes behind me, like magic, my hurt, my frustrations, that massive boulder of anxiety and its heavy weight, all of it has vanished. And in their place, I am walking tall with a lightness and a sense of freedom. I tingle with a powerful confidence that makes me almost giddy. I sense my new intimate connection with others. All of these wonderful feelings are coming from a place within me. The same place where I heard that soft little voice telling me everything was going to be okay. It came from a place I call my spiritual galaxy. Others might call it my soul, my heart, or intuition. But I call it my spiritual GPS. Yes, a GPS. But the letters don't stand for Global Positioning System. Nope. It's a term of my own, and it is short for God pointing us to our spirituality. My creator, God, Buddha, intuition, luck, there are so many names for the one as there are unique individuals. But whatever you name it, everyone agrees there is only the one, and it is everywhere. And it is all powerful, all knowing, and it is only love. I believe the one, whom I choose to call God, has installed within each of us this wonderful spiritual guidance system, which also rules our operating system, the brain. And it is God's intention to direct us to our own unique spiritual place where He can be whom He has, where we can be whom He has intended for us to be, where there is no right and no wrong, only goodness and love. And if we become distracted by the noise of the physical surroundings and others, we will veer off this predetermined course He has for us. And if we begin focusing on the dark and the negative, just like the GPS in your car, this spiritual GPS will step up and advise us, find a better way. By slowing down, taking deep breaths, and focusing, I have achieved a new awareness and a new, revised version of myself. Without my misconceptions of who I am full of hope and resilience. I even feel younger. How cool is that? I am more aligned with my authentic self. And now I can write my best podcast ever. The title? How about Old Lady Becomes a Podcaster at the Age of 79? Yes. So my suggestion to you, reinvent yourself. Try something new. Step out that front door. Make it happen. These actions will require you to dig up your past, but it will also be life-changing if you do it. And if you dare to do the autopsy and rewrite your past, your effort will make an amazing difference, not only in your life, but for everyone who crosses your path. Thank you for listening. I am Judy Howard, and I'm finding authenticity and making it happen. Please go to my website and sign up for my email updates, www.judyhowardpublishing.com. I love you all and have a wonderful day.